Tier lists, something that has divided Twitter more than it already is. And, of course, when it comes to Call of Duty Zombies, it is more divided than ever. And today I'm going to be ranking every single Call of Duty Zombies map, specifically Treyarch. I will not be including Outbreak, and this is also because it's basically a side mode. I'm not going to be including anything that isn't round-based content. And if you're wondering why Forsaken is here, it's because this tier list for some reason has two Forsakens. So, yeah. This isn't going to be my official tier list. This is just going to be predictions. As you may have already known, I am going to be doing tier lists based off of every single aspect of every single Call of Duty Zombies map. And then I'm going to round it out by taking all of the points and giving it to every single map and then ranking it based on where every single aspect of every single map stands. So, for those of you wondering, it's going to be my criteria and everything. So I'm going to be taking a lot of that stuff into account. So yeah, we have the usual tiers, the F, the D, the C, B, A, and S tier. That's all standard stuff. If you want to use this tier list, I will link it in the description of this video. And without further ado, let's get started. Now, I'm going to be starting from lowest to highest. So in our F tier, I think that the lowest ranking map is probably going to be Nuketown Zombies. It was a multiplayer map, and I highly doubt that it's going to not be anywhere higher than like the second to last or the dead last place. I don't know. I think that the fact that there isn't a really good wonder weapon, or there really isn't a wonder weapon on this map. I think it's just the ray gun. So F tier is where it's going to stand, especially because it doesn't have a shield and it doesn't have anything really going for it, so I highly doubt that it's going to be anywhere higher. As well as Bus Depot. In fact, now that I think about it, Bus Depot is probably going to be even lower than Nuketown. I think everyone can universally accept that Bus Depot is down here, because at least Nuketown has perks. Bus Depot, last time I checked, it doesn't have perks. So, yeah, Bus Depot and Nuketown are probably going to be down the second to last and last places. And I really don't see anything else going for it. Now, one map that I also don't see really doing so hot is Farm. And these three maps in general, well, actually, Farm has Pack-a-Punch, so I think it's going to be a little higher. I don't think that maps like these are going to do insane, especially with their wonder weapon selection. And another one that I think is going to be down here is probably going to be actually, you know what? I think Shino, Numa, and Verrucht are probably going to be dead last. Shino is definitely going to be lower than Verrucht because of the starting room. Other than that, they play out pretty much the exact same way. Minus the dog rounds. Verrucht doesn't have a boss. So I think that both Shino, Numa, and Verrucht are probably going to stay F tier. Even though I think they're both great maps, based on the criteria that I'm going for, I don't think it's going to go so hot. And I am going to be making their remakes be part of the criteria because I do believe that the criteria is going to be rank what is how many points it's going to be how many points they get. And if they don't score many points, while they are going to be, I really enjoy playing on Verrucht. The remake makes it better, obviously, because of the Wonder Waff being in there. So that's something that I should note as well. And then I think the final map that's going to be in here is Transit. This is what I think that the tiers are going to be. I feel like Transit might be a little higher. It might be like barely below because it has a shield. These maps don't, so that's a plus 13 points. This one is only a plus 11, or sorry, plus 12 and then plus 11. So I think that Transit's going to be there because it has a shield, but I think the wonder weapon is drastically going to destroy it, as well as the boss zombies. So yeah, that's where I'm going to put Transit because it does have some things going for it that these three maps don't. But that's how I think the F tier is going to go out. Now, based on my predictions, I do believe that D tier, I think that Town won't fall too far behind. I think the only reason Town might be just a little better is because of the starting room and the fact that you have Pack-a-Punch in the starting room. Actually, now that I think about it, the starting room is just the entire map, basically. or majority of the map. You got Pack-a-Punch in there, so I think that's going to help out a lot. And yeah, but another one that I think is going to be down here, 5 is going to be down here, and I think Classified might be a little higher. I think also because the crew is probably going to put Classified a little bit above these two, I think that 5 will be above Town because of the crew and the fact that, personally, I'd rather play JFK than fucking Marlton. So I highly doubt that Town will be too far ahead, despite it having a decent amount going for it. And I'd put 5 and Classified a little higher if it weren't for the Wonder Weapons. The reason I'm putting Classified above 5 is because they're basically the same map, but Classified also has a shield. And so I think the shield combined with a slightly better Winter's Howl will definitely put 5 a little bit below. Now, another map that I think is going to be in the D tier is Nocturne Toten. And the only reason I'm putting Noct a little higher than these maps is because of the Thunder Gun. And the fact that in the remake you can get perks, and Gobblegums do save this map, so you can get everything so long as you have the certain Gobblegums. And so I think that Nocturne Toten will be this high only because of the Thunder Gun. If the Thunder Gun wasn't in this map, I think that it definitely would be placed a lot lower. And then I'm going to give all the Cold War maps I'm going to give all the Cold War maps only 1 point in terms of cast, because you can choose your character, and while sure they aren't part of the story, they do it does lead for more customization. And I feel like Firebase Z is definitely the worst Cold War map, specifically because of the boss enemies, and I definitely think that the Ray K is definitely going to bring this down a little bit. I do think that all of the Cold War maps were really fun to play on, but I feel like Firebase is going to tank a lot because of how much the Ray K falls off. I feel like if the Ray K got a buff, I think it would have been way better, and I think Firebase would have been definitely in C tier, but I highly doubt it's going to be any further than here. And I think that coming in at our, I don't even know what spot we're on, 12, I'll say, because we're basically counting up. At our 12th worst map, it's probably going to be Call of the Dead, solely because the cast and boss enemies will bring it up a little bit, but with the Wonder Weapons, it's going to tank. In fact, I think that Call of the Dead might even be worse than Firebase, because yeah, it might be a little above Noct because of the Pack-a-Punch. I highly doubt that Call of the Dead will be anywhere above D tier because of the Wonder Weapons. I think the Wonder Weapons screw this map over a ton, as well as the Fog. And personally, I think that Call of the Dead is extremely overrated. Fight me in the comments if you must. But that's really my opinion. I think the cast really saves this map. I feel like the cast of characters is the only thing that this map has going for it. And while it hurts to put Die Rise this high at the C tier, the Silico Fire is definitely going to save this map. And I think that, in all honesty, that's because the Silico Fire, you can end an entire round in just 1 bullet. I think the only thing that'll make this Easter egg go, I think the Easter egg is the only thing that might be giving it a shit ton of points, especially the shield as well. So I think that Die Rise will stay in the C tier. And keep in mind, six things in total are going to be in each tier. I think 6 maps will be in each tier. That, or I'm going to make it so that way it's like a point thing. So if it has like 50 plus points, it'll be down here, 40, 30, etc. So keep that in mind. I think the least that you'll be able to get is like 9 points. Yeah, I think 9 is the least amount of points you can get. But Die Rise is definitely going to be here. I feel like that's the right spot, in my opinion. I think that, in all honesty, Tog will also be like directly above Die Rise. And I think that I feel like the water is probably going to screw this one over. That and the Wonder Weapons, because everything else about this map is pretty good. It's a really beautiful map. The scenery is great. So C tier is where I think it'll stay. The next one that I think will be in the C tier I'm trying to think which one is a good one. I definitely think that before someone comes and stabs me multiple times, I am going to have to put... I feel like Alpha Omega might be here. Personally, I really enjoy Alpha Omega. I think it's really great. I think the Easter egg might fuck over this map, though. It's obviously only going to get 1 point because of the shield. Same with this one. It might only get 1 point because of the shield, but it's going to be screwed over by the fact that the Easter egg. The Wonder Weapon on Alpha Omega, the 4 Wonder Weapons are really good. I really enjoy getting them. I have a fun time getting them. Yeah, Alpha Omega is definitely a map I come back to, but I think it's going to tank from all of the negatives. I also think that this is a good place to actually put Forsaken. I feel like Forsaken's going to be... I think it's either a B or a C tier map. I don't think it's anywhere higher than that, but I think the Wonder Weapon would definitely save this map. I think the Easter egg is fun. It's just that, like, it's a very small map. Like, you may think that it's big because you can fit all of the perks on this map, but no, Mauer is bigger. Mauer is bigger than Forsaken. I just want to let you all know that because the perks are extremely jumbled together. Like, the machines, like, you could tell that they fit them in way too close to each other because this is a small ass map when you think about it. And then I think that in total, because there isn't an Easter egg, I think that Kino is going to be in the C tier. It might be below Forsaken now that I think about it, because Kino doesn't have a mainline Easter egg. In fact, now that I think about it, Classified might be higher than Noct because it has an Easter egg. Yeah. Kino doesn't have an Easter egg, and so it's probably going to get like 30 or so points because it doesn't. Yeah. Classified, you may think it doesn't have an Easter egg, but, well, sure, you can get the in-game cutscene by getting to round 150, but there is actually like an Easter egg that you can complete. There's a quest to get a free Winter's Towel as well as a bonfire sale. So I think that Classified will honestly get higher because of its Easter egg. Kino, I think, will drag because it doesn't have an Easter egg, and I'm willing to die on the hill that literally that Revelations is a better map than Kino. I think that Kino is extraordinarily overrated just because I get it. It's the best zombies map of all time. Kino der Toten Black Ops 1, but it's not insane. I don't want to linger on Kino that much. It leaves a sore taste in my mouth. But Voyage, on the other hand, Voyage is a good C tier. I think C tier is a good spot to put Voyage. I enjoy the map. I think it's really fun. I love Voyage. It's an enjoyable map. I feel like it gets hated on too much, but for what it's worth, Voyage definitely, it's an insanely good map, especially to play on. It's really fun. I enjoy it. I think it's amazing. Zetsubo no Shima is going to start off our B tier, and I think that there's only going to be a couple parts that really screw this one over. The Thrashers and the Spiders are probably going to screw up Zetsubo insanely, and that's why I'm going to put it in the B tier. Right here, I think it's a good spot. It's our midway point. So yeah, I guess Zetsubo is the map to beat, and all the things on our all the other maps on our list will do that. Starting with Ascension, I think that Ascension will fall because it doesn't have a mainline Easter egg. In fact, I think that's Ascension will fall under Zetsubo. And I think the only reason Ascension might be above Zetsubo is because of the boss monkeys, because you can get perks and stuff from them during the monkey rounds, which I think will definitely help out Ascension a lot. And so I think that these two will be hand in hand. I highly doubt that they'll be far from each other, because the Wonder Weapons, Ascension has the Thunder Gun, Zetsubo has the KT4 Masamune. I think that Zetsubo may go higher because of the Specialist weapon, and I think Ascension might fall because of the Pab camo. But I think it's a good place to keep these both here, because I think that they are both equally good Wonder Weapons. weapon-wise and layout-wise. I think, honestly, though, I play these two the least. Some of the least out of the BO4 maps. I feel like they've aged somewhat the worst out of any of the maps. But that's really my hot take on it. Next up, I feel like this is a good place to put in Blood. Yeah. I'm surprised Blood is this high, but I feel like also people shit on this map too much. I think it's a solid map. I don't think there's any problems with Blood of the Dead. I get it. You take away the mobsters, it's like copy and paste a Mob of the Dead with a lot of shit removed and a lot of unnecessary shit added. But I think in general, Blood of the Dead does better because of the shield. But I think what's going to be the problem is the Easter egg. In fact, I feel like because of the Wonder Weapon as well, Mob and Blood are going to be lower than they should because of the Easter egg. Because of the Easter egg for Blood as well as because of the Wonder Weapons. Because statistically, it is worse than a lot of the other Wonder Weapons I'm talking about. We'll see Mob later in the video, but I think that Die Machine is probably Die Machine and then Mauer. I think that in terms of gameplay, they are both equal, but I feel like Mauer is going to do better because of the Easter egg and because of the Wonder Weapon. In fact, I think that it's safe to say that Mauer is an A tier map. Die Machine is a high B tier map. I think that in general, Mauer is going to do way better than Die Machine. I think the only problem with Mauer is the starting room, and you can't really do much in the starting room. Though I think that in terms of starting rooms, Die Machines is better. So keep that in mind. That I think Mauer will definitely stay in the A tier, and Die Machine will just slightly lag behind. But another map that I think will lag behind will definitely be Der Riese in the B tier map. It hurts to put it this low, but I feel like the thing that Der Riese has going for it is I personally think that there's not a lot going for it other than the WAF. I think the WAF will definitely help out Der Riese a ton. It is an amazing map. It's just that a lot of the newer maps that come after it have a lot more going for it. And Der Riese, it added Pack-a-Punch, and I love that. It's just that in terms of features, it doesn't have an insane amount that you can't get anywhere else. And then I think to top off our B tier, it's... If I had to take a guess, it would probably be Shangri-La. I think that Shangri-La will top off our B tier because of the baby gun. Also the starting room, because you can... there's a box in there, there is a Gobblegum machine, and there is a Quick Revive machine. And so I think that that's going to be what helps out Shang a ton. While sure there's not a really easy way to get to high rounds on Shang, I think it'll definitely do well because of the baby gun. So that's probably going to be my B tier. Next up, kicking off our A tier, I think it's going to probably be... this is probably Dead of the Night is probably going to kick off our A tier because of the starting room. I think that the starting room really screws over Dead of the Night, and I feel like Alistair's Folly could have definitely been better, as well as the cast. I mean, Dead of the Night is criminally underrated in my opinion, and I think its release definitely screwed it up. But I think in total, Dead of the Night is definitely going to be up here because it's a good map overall. But another map that I think is going to do drastically better, and I think that Mauer is good where it's at. I'm going to put Moon just above Mauer as our top 10 map. I think, in all honesty, it's going to do a lot better because I think the only thing that's not going for it is its boss, Zombie, and I think the Cosmonaut as well as the Excavators are going to screw up this map. Though the starting room is easily one of the best because, think about it, before you go to the quote-unquote starting room on the moon, you can actually pack a punch in there. There's 2 Gobblegum machines, one for Area 51 and one for the moon. There's also a perk machine. You can get 2 perk machines if you're on solo. So you can get a Jug or a Speed Cola. As well, as a quick revive machine. And I think in total that's going to bring up Moon a ton. It's just that the Cosmata is going to destroy this map drastically, as well as the Pap camo, because it's a good Pap camo, but it's not amazing. And the shield. The shield is definitely going to screw over this map a ton. And then here's where I think Mob the Dead is going to last, because first off, the starting room is rough. I think that the Easter egg is pretty mid-tier. Its shield, while it has one, it's not an insanely good shield. And I feel like in total, while the mobsters are great, I feel like it's going to lack in a couple of areas, especially because out of the 4 horsemen, which are Shadows, Origins, Drak, and Mob of the Dead has the worst wonder weapon, and it only has one that can be upgraded. But in total, the lingering damage doesn't really make it worth it. Because you have the Magma Gat and then you have the Acid Gat. They both can give you self-damage. So that is something that'll bring it up. I think that Buried is probably going to end up being better than Mob. While I think that Mob is better, I think that Buried statistically will have better results. Because first off, you can get an LMG in the starting room. The starting room on Buried, get this, has 4 guns. You have your M14, then you have, I forget what else you have. You have the M14, you have the LSAT if you can manage to get it in time, and then you have your burst pistol, I think, is in the starting room as well. The B23R, I think, is in the starting room. Yeah, that sounds right. And then you also have the Remington shotgun that can be chalked on, and then you also have quick revive in the starting room. So overall, 4 guns and then quick revive overall is really good. And then if you're lucky, you'll Leroy will definitely help out as well. The Witch's Hut, in order to get perks past your 4 limit, will also drastically help improve the map. So yeah, overall I think that this map is going to really be up there. And then I think that to top off our A tier, we are probably going to have Garad Crovey top off our A tier at the number 7 spot. I think that maybe the Wonder Weapon would probably mess up this map, but everything about Garad Crovey is amazing. I think the only problem is that the Wonder Weapon has a way too little ammo. The Mark IIIs are still amazing, but I think that Garad Crovey in general, also the starting room, because I don't think there's a box in the starting room, now that I think about it. But overall, it's going to be an amazing map. Overall, I think it'll be either high A or low S tier because of how fun the map is. At our number 6 spot, we have 9. And I think that what really brings this map up is the fact that you can get a free Pack-a-Punch in the starting room. And it's on a really good gun, the Strife. While sure, there aren't any perks in the starting room, there is at least a decent amount that can get you a lot in the starting room. You can get really far in the starting room. So yeah, and the fact that you can buy ammo for the Strife in the starting room will definitely help this map skyrocket into the S tier. So yeah, number 6 spot, we have 9. At our number 5 spot, I feel like is going to be handed out to Revelations. And you're probably asking yourself, wait, what? How is Revelations this high? First off, criminally underrated map. I think that Rev, while it aged the least, people forget that they wanted a Revelations. Before it existed, everyone wanted a Revelations. So I think that in general, Rev will definitely do better. Because also it has a shield, it's wonder weapons, it has the best wonder weapon, or one of the best in my opinion, the Apothicon Servant. So I think it's going to be up there. And also the starting room. It's amazing. In fact, when taking everything into account, if it wasn't for the Easter egg, I think that Revelations would probably be the best map statistically, because high rounds are fun and there's a lot you can do. There's a free perk Easter egg. Yeah, I and the masks would definitely bring revelations even past S tier. I'm willing to put it at the top of like the best map ever because of so much that it introduced, especially the pap camo. It was such a good pap camo. It's just that the Easter egg would probably bring it down just a little bit because our top 4 picks are near perfect. Starting off with Ancient Evil. Yeah, that's right, Ancient Evil. I think that the gauntlets, them being statistically a little light on ammo, would definitely bring this down just a tiny bit. Because Ancient Evil is a near perfect map, and I'm willing to stick with that because it's a fun map. You have so much Greek mythology. You have so much Greek mythology poured into this map, and you can tell that to the finale of a storyline, they worked hard. Treyarch worked so hard, and I feel like it could have been so much more if Jason Blundell was able to work on the story for a little longer. I'm pretty sure, like, especially the Great War map. Why didn't we get a Great War map? For that, I cannot tell you. But what I can tell you is that our number 3 spot, it goes out to Dreisendrach. I think that in general, Dreisendrach is a very solid map. In fact, I really, really love Dreisendrach. I think it's fun. It's in a snowy castle. The Easter egg where you kill Dempsey, my personal favorite character of all time, is fun. The bows, trying to get them are amazing, minus the fire bow, because unfortunately Noah J didn't make a guide, and so I'm still kind of stuck trying to figure out how to make the bow. But I think the one flaw in this map is the starting room. And the starting room, because there's no box in it, but it redeems itself because there's a gobblegum machine. So you can get a little bit far, but overall there's just not a lot going for this starting room, and it sucks to say that because I love the starting room. I love Dreisendrach. I think it's amazing of a map. And in our number 2 spot, and you can narrow this down, you'll know that the only 2 maps left are Origins and Shadows. And I'm going to have to put Origins above Shadows for one reason and one reason only. Shadows has a terrible starting room. There isn't even a gum machine in Shadows. And I think overall, that is going to mess up Shadows tremendously. Because Origins fits the criteria of having a box, a gobblegum machine, and a quick revive machine all in the starting room. Because while Shadows has a better wonder weapon, it can't be upgraded. Actually, wait. Hang on a sec. I think they'll be tied because of Shadow's shield and Origin's shield. Because statistically, Shadows is just a little bit better than Origins. So it'll probably be a close call. But overall, I think Origins might take the lead because everyone can get a staff. And the staffs are fun to build and amazing to make. And while, yeah, I'll admit the Panzers are a little annoying at times, Panzer Round 8 boys, I think that in general they're easier to kill and reward you just a little more than what the Margwas do. In fact, I think that Shadow's starting room is... I put Shadow's starting room a little higher than Dreisendrach's because of Beast Mode. Yeah, Beast Mode, so you can revive your friends faster. And also the pod, so you do have a chance of getting any gun in the game, with a few exceptions. So, yeah, those 2 things do help out a ton. And now that I think about it, technically, you can actually get up to where Narrow's, like, ritual is, so you can get, like, the starting room on Shadows is a little lenient because you're technically not buying the door, you're just opening it via a power switch. So, yeah, that's probably the only thing that would really help out Shadow's starting room, even just a little bit. But yeah, that is my list. If you do agree with it, let me know down in the comment section below. Now, I'm going to be checking back to this list to see if I was correct with my predictions. And hopefully I was, because if not, I'm going to feel stupid. Overall, if you like a map, then don't be offended with this. This is just where, like, this isn't my personal tier list. This isn't where I would put everything. In fact, if I wasn't going off of sole facts, I'd put Revelations at the top of S tier, like even above Origins. But I think that in terms of points and whatnot, it's going to lag behind just a tiny bit. But overall, every map is good in one way or another, and every map is meant to fit anyone's playstyle. I do think that if Zombie Chronicles 2 comes out, then Transit could definitely become even higher. Because, well, yeah, it's lacking behind. And while it's not confirmed that Zombie Chronicles 2 is coming out, there is a decent chance that it will happen if the community keeps begging Treyarch. Because as one of the lead developers, Kevin Drew, said, giving suggestions and requesting things is what keeps the door open for them to happen. So we keep asking, and we may just receive. But that was my list. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed, then leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And I do want to say one final thing before I head off. After I do all the rankings for these, I'm probably not going to do much zombies content anymore, due to Activision basically not giving a shit. I genuinely think that Activision is going to kill Call of Duty's franchise, and I think that I might not even be able to get all of the content ready in order to film it and send it out for the gameplay, because I think that they're going, the hackers and whatnot and all the glitches are going to destroy the game, so I can't even play it. Which I think would be sad. But oh well. It was fun making this tier list, and I'm sorry for taking so much of your time. I'll see you all later. Goodbye.